Hi everyone, I'm Sarah from Justice for Education, and today I'm here with Lydia. Hi Lydia, thank you very much for being here.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for inviting me.
So today we will talk about Help Bolivia Foundation, which is an NGO that operates in El Alto in Bolivia. First of all, thank you, and I would like to know a bit about the foundation of the NGO, when it started and why. How was it? How was the process of the foundation?
Okay, so we were founded in 2018 by my husband Matt and myself. And the reason we're in Bolivia is I studied Bolivia for a university paper in the late 1990s. I had developed a passion for the rights of Indigenous people while in university, and I've been working in the field of Aboriginal law for the last 20 years. And I knew when I studied Bolivia that I wanted to help the indigenous people there. And I chose that country when I learned that the majority of the people were indigenous. So we started sponsoring children in Bolivia. We started doing Kiva loans, microloans to Bolivians. And then 11 or 12 years ago, I decided it was time to get to Bolivia and see it for myself. So I joined an NGO and I was with them for 2.5 years. And I did my first trip there, and it was everything I thought it would be and more. It was really my dream come true. I resigned from the NGO for a variety of reasons and then went back to Bolivia with my husband. And we went to visit a project that we knew had very little funding, and the funding was running out. And the parents there asked us if we could help them and not to forget them. And of course, we could not forget them. And we came back to Canada and created a registered Canadian charity.
Okay,
And the rest is history. So that was 7 years ago. We turned seven last month. We make an annual trip. We all pay our own way. We are 100% volunteer driven. We have a board of directors that spans Canada coast to coast, and we have volunteers in 6 or 7 countries around the world. And COVID really saw us grow through Zoom. When we were all locked down, we had the first volunteer from Europe contact us saying he wanted to help with a charity working in Bolivia. And prior to COVID, I don't think we would have accepted a volunteer that far away, but Zoom changed the world. I mean, look at us now. You're in Italy and I'm in Canada.
yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah. This is the good aspect, the Zoom
Yes.
tool. You operate in El Alto. What about the main challenges of this place? Because there are a lot of challenges, for example, malnutrition, some challenges in the educational field. How would you describe this context?
El Alto is a rapidly growing city on the outskirts of La Paz, made up of mostly migrants from the countryside, indigenous migrants, mostly Aymara, that are moving to the city for better opportunities. So the growth is outpacing the ability for the city to keep up with infrastructure. There's many homes that don't have running water or proper sanitation. Many families come in and the parents are undereducated and underskilled, so they become daily workers selling in the markets. COVID was very hard on those families. The children face malnutrition in many cases. The parents cannot afford to buy the food that they need to develop properly, especially now with the economic crisis they're going through. They eat a lot of starch, so potatoes and bread and rice and pasta. At our centers, we work with partners on the ground in Bolivia that provide lunch programs with nutritional food such as quinoa and lentils, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. And of course, the prices are always rising, so it's a struggle to maintain the nutritional value of the meals. School is only a half day in Bolivia,
Okay.
so it's very difficult to compete on the world stage, especially families that are not well off. So families with money will put their children into school the other half of a day, a private school. But the families that we serve are not able to do that. So the centers that we operate are where kids can go when they're not in school, and we have educators that help them with homework, that do things like help build self-esteem. We have a psychologist that provides therapy for children who have faced trauma, maybe family violence, a history of food insecurity growing up. Most of the families referred to our center are single parents, so they just need a little bit of help, and we're there to provide that help. But in El Alto, the infrastructure is not there for the people that are moving in. And so they'll do things like build a school for 400 children, and they'll get 800 children through by having them half go in the morning and half go in the afternoon. So there's a serious issue with education deficiencies, and then it's a struggle when the children graduate and go on to university because it's very difficult to compete with their peers who may have been in school full time. But it is working. We've got a few students now who have gone on to post-secondary, thanks to a partnership we have with another NGO on the ground who helps students go on to university or college. So we're making a difference. The need is huge and growing every day. The city was a small city 30 years ago. Actually, it's celebrating its 40th anniversary this year, and now it's over 1 million people. So every time we go, it's bigger.
It's me. But how do you measure success in the NGO? What's the final vision you would like to realize in a certain way?
It's to see the break in poverty, where we have children go on to university. And as we know from studies, I was a long time volunteer with UNICEF, educated children or adults, especially educated women, tend to have educated children. And
Yeah.
this will help break the cycle of the parents who are daily wagers selling in the markets. One of the projects we have is a bakery training facility. We obtained a grant in Canada and built a bakery, and it's now running its second program for 30 women and youth who are learning how to bake. And some of them are taking those skills and creating items to sell in the market. So it's another step up from reselling for someone else. If Bill Gates wanted to send me $1 million, we would open more centers. So this
Okay.
partner that I mentioned who helps students go on to post-secondary, she is a teacher. She was born in Canada but moved to Bolivia many years ago. And she said this is the most critical thing that we can do to help children in Bolivia is start when they're young, provide the support, the nutrition, a place for them to stay and be safe and to get help with homework because the parents can't help these kids with homework. And this is how we're going to raise the next generation of educated children, Bolivians, and break the cycle of poverty.
A very interesting thing that I saw is that, as you said, is 100% volunteer driven NGO. How is it possible? How can you operate as a 100% volunteer driven
Well,
NGO?
Canadians have big hearts, and we live just outside Calgary, which is where we started. We're in the city of Airdrie, and we're actually a very volunteer-driven province and city. So volunteering is a big thing in Canada. We have websites for people who are looking for volunteer roles because we all like to give back. And in
Yeah.
many cases, it's new Canadians, and it's a way for them to connect with other Canadians and a way to give back. We have volunteers who have benefited from projects such as ours in their home countries. And we just have big hearts. We're not with a church, we're just Canadians with big hearts. In the beginning, we started with a board that were our family and friends, and now we have people on the board that we didn't know 7 years ago, and they're here for the project. They're here either they're Bolivian or they want to help children or whatever reason. So this is how we're building it to be sustainable.
Okay. And do you also accept donations?
Absolutely. We have a campaign on right now called A Grain of Sand. And the idea is that it's like many hands make light work. So we ask people to sign up to donate $5 a month or €5 a month or um, £5 a month. And it's just a small amount, but the idea is with all these grains of sand, we can build a sustainable and dependable budget to allow us to help program for the children.
There is a question that I always ask and that I do really like. Is there a personal message that you want to say to leave here? Is there something maybe you want to say about the NGO that I didn't ask you? Is there something more you want to say?
I think that for anyone who's watching this, if you want to help children, it doesn't take much to find a way to do that. Um, I like to give the example of the website Global Giving, which is an
Yeah,
American-based donation platform that has thousands of grassroots charities on it. So if you're looking to give your money to someone that isn't going to spend 20% of it on administration or fundraising, check Global Giving. If you want to give to someone in Kenya, there's going to be organizations working in Kenya. If you want to do Bolivia, there's a few of us in Bolivia. E- Even a small amount can be helpful.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I'd want to say. And you don't have to be rich to be able to support children.
yeah. We don't even imagine how a small amount of money, a small gesture can be for a person, an NGO, someone that wants to transform the society.
Exactly. We can all do our part.
Yeah. And this is also possible because a lot of people do a bit, give something of their time or of their money to help to change.
Exactly. And if we get, it's like the snowflakes. One snowflake, what's it going to do? You get a million snowflakes and
Yeah,
you've got a snowball or a snowman or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Well, Lydia, thank you very much for your
Thank you,
time, for your
Sarah.
words. Thank you. I invite all of you to visit the Help Bolivia Foundation website and to get involved in some way, to make a donation, to go volunteer, to explore this country and understand better the Alto city and how the NGO is working. So thank you all for having watched this interview, and we will meet in the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.